good evening to you on this 18th day of February 2024 and a very warm welcome to Weekend Live. These are the stories making headlines tonight. It is necessary for African leaders to mobilize adequate investments in local vaccine industries. President Ruto urges Africa to venture in manufacturing human vaccines. Crime of passion. Another case of femicide as man in Juja stabs wife to death before attempting suicide. Family in limbo after their land allegedly defrauded by their stepdaughter-in-law. Family now wants the CS Lance Alice Wahome to intervene on the matter. And BRICS got beef. In agribusiness tonight, we explore South Africa's beef farming, making market for Saudi Arabia.
This is the Weekend Live with Odida.
All right, Mutava Mongeli is our sign language interpreter. Tonight we are live on YouTube at KUTVNEWS Kenya and on X at KUTV_Kenya. Interact with me at Odida. The hashtag is Weekend Live. Let's get started. President William Ruto has urged African Union member states to create and accelerate an enabling environment for vaccine manufacturing in the continent. While attending a meeting on vaccine manufacturing in Africa organized by the International Vaccine Institute (IVI) in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, the president noted that the African continent has the research capacity to manufacture vaccines. Listen in.
On the sidelines of the 37th Ordinary Session of the Assembly of African Union (AU) in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia earlier today, President William Ruto's remarks on the sustainable vaccine manufacturing had him challenge African leaders to take bold and decisive steps in implementing homegrown solutions to health security challenges in vaccine production, distribution and delivery.
The time has come for the African Union member states to take bold and decisive steps in implementing homegrown solutions to our health security challenges. As regards vaccines, we must build a holistic ecosystem incorporating the entire value chain all the way from research and development to clinical trials, local production, as well as efficient distribution and delivery.
Indeed, the success of vaccine manufacturing initiative is predicated on a regional approach to ensure sustainability and supporting the continental harmonization of efforts in the areas of regulatory affairs, research and development, and most importantly, the workforce development that is required.
Even as the leaders seek to collaborate to develop vaccine partnership, Ruto expressed the need to focus on Africa's fundamental goal, which is the achievement of vaccine and healthcare sovereignty. According to Ruto, the goal shall only be achieved if African leaders work on the removal of drawbacks, including intellectual property obstacle to manufacturing, trade barriers, and supply chain contracts.
Africa must therefore begin to liberate itself from the dependency on donor-funded mechanisms, and AU member states must significantly accelerate efforts to develop a self-reliant, self-sufficient vaccine production sector for sustainable access to routine as well as outbreak vaccinations. We must also promote equitable vaccine distribution globally based on the need to save lives, not greed for profit.
However, the head of state applauded Kenya's quest to work with other regional stakeholders to accelerate and create an enabling environment for vaccine manufacturing in the continent.
We already have a special economic zone that is going to provide the necessary environment for pharmaceutical companies who want to set up And I want to ask those in this room and elsewhere who are looking for an opportunity that there exists an opportunity for a $1 billion market in Kenya and possibly a $50 billion market in Africa.
President Ruto also witnessed the unveiling of the statue in honor of His Excellency Julius Kambarage Nyerere on the sidelines during the AU Commission. This came a day after Ruto was appointed as AU champion for institutional reforms, on top of being the chairperson of the AU Climate Change Architecture. Anyango Sylvia, KUTV.
Now, Kenya and Brazil have committed to strengthening diplomatic ties for the benefit of the two nations. President William Ruto has underscored that the two countries will be seeking to increase investments in agricultural production, technology, education, trade, and commerce. According to President Ruto, Brazil, who is the current G20 chair, has also committed to support Africa's development agenda. He made the remarks after meeting Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, at the Assembly of Heads of State and Government of the African Union Forum. Another case of femicide has been reported in Juja, Kiambu County, after a man hacked his wife to death at Mungetho in Mirimaini Estate in Juja before attempting to take his own life. The man, identified as 30-year-old Timothy Kipto Kipkoskei, is said to have traced Faith Chebet to an apartment in Mungetho where he committed the heinous act on Saturday evening. Akida Kasim tells us more.
A stepdaughter by the name Violent Duku is alleged to have lied to Kidhimani court that she was the only living person in her dad's polygamous family, despite her stepmother Esther Ndinda, her brother and sister being alive. In a succession suit in Kidhimani Law Court filed by her stepfamily, her succession case was annulled in September last year, with the court ordering her not to in any way interfere with the estate of her late dad.
So kutoka nikaona
All right, now a widow and her two children in Oldonyo Sabuk in Matungulu sub-county within Machakos County are living in agony and abject poverty after their stepdaughter-in-law conspired to inherit the entire estate belonging to her late father-in-law. The stepdaughter is believed to have started selling the land to unsuspecting buyers despite a court order barring her from accessing the said estate. Listen in.
A family in Oldonyo Sabuk in Machakos County are decrying over their land defraud. A stepdaughter by the name Violet Nduku is alleged to have lied to the Kidhimani court that she was the only person in her dad's polygamous family, despite her stepmother Esther Ndinda, her brother and her sister being alive. In a succession suit in Kidhimani Law Court filed by her stepfamily, her succession case was annulled in September last year, with the court ordering her not to in any way interfere with the state of her late dad.
Sasa huyu mke wa kijana kwanza parents amekuja akaanza na ng'ombe kwanza. Kutoka kwa ng'ombe akaja akalete vijana. Wakakata samba, hii yote wakakata miti akamaliza akauza.
In a succession suit in Kidhimani Law Court filed by her stepfamily, her succession case was annulled in September last year, with the court ordering her not to in any way interfere with the estate of her late dad. According to Esther Ndinda, her late husband Simon Mutiso had shared his two pieces of land, one in Matungulu and the other in Tala, between his two wives, that is Esther Ndinda Mutiso and the late Veronica Siokau, now the mother-in-law to Violet Nduku.
Ile kinanisumbua, kuna kampuni imepewa hii samba wause. Sasa hawa ndio wanatusumbua kwa sababu walimpewa hiyo kazi, wanakuja wanauza. Na wakuja wakiuza, hatujui ni nani amewaauthorize kwa hiyo, kwa sababu kesi imeisha na koti yote imemaliza.
John Ngutu Mutiso, her only son on his side, says he is now forced to take care of his old mom since she cannot earn a living.
Toda ambayo inaoneshana Violet afai kukanyanga hapa. Violet na watu wake, Violet na wafanyikazi wake hawafai kuinterfere na property any ya my deceased father.
The family is now calling upon the Minister for Lands, Alice Wahome, to intervene in the matter so as to stop the future conflicts within the family. Akida Kasim, KUTV.
Now, a ruling was delivered Friday in the New York civil fraud trial involving Donald Trump. The decision marks a major setback for the former president, whose legal battles have continued to unfold since he left office. Aaron Ranen has the story from New York City.
In a significant legal blow to former President Donald Trump, a New York judge has ordered him, his 2 adult sons, and his companies to pay $364 million and barred him from doing business in New York State for 3 years. The Office of New York Attorney General Letitia James issued the following statement. Today, justice has been served. This is a tremendous victory for this state, this nation, and for everyone who believes that we must all play by the same rules, even former presidents. The ruling comes after the judge found that the Trump organization engaged in a years-long scheme to deceive banks and other entities with financial statements that exaggerated the value of many of his properties. The Trump organization said the ruling was a gross miscarriage of justice. Every member of the New York business community, no matter the industry, should be gravely concerned with this gross overreach and brazen attempt by the Attorney General to exert limitless power where no private or public harm has been established. New Yorkers have been vocal in expressing their views on this verdict.
It won't affect mine because I was never going to vote for him, but I hope it will affect the vote of others.
I think it's ridiculous, but I think it's the same thing. They're always trying to attack him, so just ignore it and keep moving forward.
Former President Donald Trump is expected to challenge the verdict.
Donald Trump will certainly appeal, and there's 2 different levels he can go to in New York. The first is the Court of Appeal. Then he can go to the state's highest court. But that's a discretionary appeal. They don't have to take the case, and they may not. And then, of course, there's always the possibility that he can go to the U.S. Supreme Court. But there's no real federal issue here. This is a state issue in New York.
Romani clarifies that while Trump is required to put up some cash right away, he's not obligated to pay the entire sum immediately.
Donald Trump is going to have to pay something very soon, because if he wants to appeal this case, he's going to have to purchase an appeal bond, which will cost a percentage of the judgment. So it's going to be a significant sum.
This verdict represents a setback for Trump, whose carefully crafted image as a successful businessman has been central to his public persona and political aspirations, and could have an effect on undecided voters.
It's all about the independents in this upcoming presidential race, and it looks now as if he's going to lose a huge chunk of them. Recent polls have showed all his legal hassles, not just this case, has dropped at least 10 points among independent voters. And that's crucial in swing states like, Pennsylvania and Wisconsin.
With the presidential election less than 9 months away and Trump's other legal cases, including a pending criminal indictment still awaiting resolution, the verdicts could wield significant influence on the outcome of the United States 2024 presidential election. Aaron Rainen, VOA News, New York City.
Now on to a previous story on crime of passion. Another case of femicide has been reported in Juja, Kiambu County after a man hacked his girlfriend to death at Mungetho in Mirimaini Estate in Juja before attempting to take his own life. The man, identified as 30-year-old Timothy Kipto, is said to have traced Faith Chebet to an apartment in Mungetho where he committed the heinous act on Saturday evening. Listen in.
A stepdaughter by the name Violent Duku is alleged to have lied to Kidhimani court that she was the only living person in her dad's polygamous family, despite her stepmother Esther Ndinda, her brother and sister being alive. In a succession suit in Kidhimani Law Court filed by her stepfamily, her succession case was annulled in September last year, with the court ordering her not to in any way interfere with the estate of her late dad.
So kutoka nikaona boy sasa, nikaangalia chini, alikuwa na kisu, akadunga dem, akamdunga shingo, akamdunga, ilikuwa tu visu mingi.
According to Esther Ndinda, her late husband, Simon Mutiso Guka, had shared his 2 pieces of land, one in Matungulu and the other one in Tala, between his 2 wives, that is Esther Ndinda Mutiso and the late Veronica Siokau, now the mother-in-law to Violet Nduku Mutua.
Mama natumai venye alipigwa visu, aliamua kwenda kujificha kwa jirani. So kujaribu kuingia hapo, huyo akamshika, akamfuata, akajifungia huko ndani sababu jamaa alikuwa paka na panga.
John Guka Mutiso, her only son on his side, says he is now forced to take care of his old mom since she cannot earn a living, for she was left wallowing in poverty at her old age.
Wamama wameuawa katika Kenya hii yetu. Ukisikia kifo mahali ni mama, ukisikia pande ingine ni mama. Kwa hivyo mimi ningetaka serikali yetu iunge hata kama ni kamati ya kuangalia ni nini haswa inaleta hii maafa.
We apologize for the mix-up on that story. We'll be bringing you that in details later on. We're taking a very fast short break at this point. Stay with us. We're coming back with more.
They are powerful and influential. They make decisions in politics, education, finance, agriculture, health, sports, and all aspects of human life. But the impact of their decisions falls on you, the common citizen. KUTV Primetime News Thursday. We ask bold questions and pursue answers to the core to bring you closer to the story. We couldn't have it any other way. Join me, Auma Evans, as I raise matters of social concern to raise your voice from the background to the foreground. Every Thursday and Saturday at 9 p.m. only on KUTV.
Maelfu na maelfu ya wahamiaji wakiwa na watoto kutoka nchi za Amerika ya Kati wanaendelea kuwasili kwenye mpaka kati ya Marekani na Mexico.
But folks, I'm going. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ni habari kutoka pembe zote duniani.
Pepopa si vuguvugu. Pepopa ni idea.
Tazidi ananyonya, hanyonyi vizuri, anakuwa hayuko comfortable.
Jeshi la Jamhuri ya Kidemokrasia ya Kongo linapambana na waasi wa ADF.
Kwa sasa wanatoa wito kwa mashirika, makampuni na vile vituo vya uchukuzi.
Mambo mengi yatakwenda kama yalivyopangwa.
Hapa ni kuna mmoja wa viongozi wa chama cha wavuvi katika eneo hili.
Zaidi tunajaribu kuwapa chanjo ili ina boost ama inanyanyua kinga ya mwili, ndio inaenda kupelekea kupambana na virusi.
Ni dunia ni leo, Jumatatu mpaka Ijumaa, moja kwa moja kutoka VOA Swahili, Washington DC.
Power is transient, that at this point it's them who are powerful. In the next time, the next term, it will be them who are actually begging the courts to protect their rights. Yes.
You mentioned something that I would really love for you to elaborate on. When you say banana republic, what does that really mean?
It's a republic that is characterized by chaos.
So my name is Jakub Petri. I'm Associate Professor in the Institute of Philosophy of Jagiellonian University in Krakow, Poland. And I'm the main coordinator of the CAFE project, which is being here hosted by Kenyatta University.
My name is Eva Hutoba. I am a project manager in this consortium. Keep watching cutting-edge research at Kenyatta University Television.
You are watching Weekend Live with Odida.
Welcome back. You're watching KUTV Weekend Live. Let's take a look at what's happening in agribusiness tonight. Now, South Africa will soon start exporting beef to the oil-rich kingdom and new BRICS member Saudi Arabia. Kate Bartlett reports from a ranch outside Johannesburg that stands to benefit from this new trade partnership.
The beef from some of the more than 150,000 South African cows on this feedlot outside Johannesburg is destined for diners many miles away in Saudi Arabia. That's after South Africa did a deal with the kingdom, which this year became a new member of the BRICS Plus group of emerging economies, which already includes Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, and presents itself as an alternative to the Western-led global order.
So Saudi Arabia is firstly a very big market for protein generally. They are the largest consumer in the Gulf. So South Africa has just been accredited and various factories have been accredited. So this is very exciting for South Africa. The rest of the BRICS countries, we currently don't export to many of them. We don't export to Russia, we don't export to Brazil, we don't export to India.
Karen Beef, one of South Africa's biggest beef producers, does export to China, but does business primarily with Gulf countries, and new partner Saudi Arabia's protein market is worth some $2 billion. Until now, South Africa has been banned from exporting to the oil-rich kingdom for more than 20 years. Ever since an outbreak of foot and mouth disease, said Wendile Silobo, chief economist at the Agricultural Business Chamber of South Africa.
Countries that have dominated the Saudi market includes the likes of the US, South America, you see them there. And now South Africa will be joining those countries. And I think that given that our exports have been progressively growing over time, Saudi Arabia offers new opportunities for expansion.
Devolt Olivier, CEO of Red Meat Industry Services, says trade with China involves logistical hurdles, while the EU market is difficult to break into. Most of South Africa's beef goes to the domestic market, with exports accounting for only around 4%. So a new customer like Saudi Arabia is important.
If you look at the Saudi Arabian market, they consume 2.4 million tons of red meat per annum. That's the 2024 forecast.
And Olivia says the deal is already opening other doors in the BRICS Plus grouping.
What we've seen was that on the back of Saudi Arabia opening up to us, we've had discussions immediately with Iran.
Increased exports should have a positive effect on South Africa's flailing economy and high unemployment rates. Kate Bartlett, VOA News, Johannesburg.
All right, we are taking another short break at this point. You're coming back with sports.
From the hospital corridors, we bring you experts to discuss issues affecting your health, from diet to mental health. The familiar and the ignored are both put into perspective. We then dive into the environment and look at the effects of climate change and its solutions. Join me, Mutegi K. Martin, every Friday at 9 p.m. as we learn on how to better our health while taking care of our environment. Only on KUTV.
Badala ya kutafuta kazi, tunaweza kuanzisha miradi yetu ambayo ingetusaidia kubadilisha maisha ya wazazi wetu.
Kwa vijana wenzangu, wengi hawana kazi, lakini ikiwa sisi wenyewe tutajiamini, tunaweza kujiajiri wenyewe.
Afrika kwa kweli tuna mahitaji ambayo ukiyasuluhisha unaweza kuathiri watu kwenye bara hili.
Bila uoga, watu huwa na uzalishaji zaidi, wanajawa na ujasiri, wanakuwa wabunifu na wanakuwa wenye maarifa.
Niliamua kuacha kazi. Hata kama sitafanikiwa, nitakuwa nimejaribu, nitakuwa najua haiwezekani.
Hakuna kitu cha ajabu hapa. Kila anayepata ufanisi hufanya kazi usiku na mchana.
Kitu kitakusukuma na kuwezesha kupata maarifa ambayo hukuwa nayo.
Tunajaribu kutengeneza kitu kitakachopita mipaka ya nchi hii.
Ikiwa unataka kubadilisha ulimwengu, anza na nyumbani.
Power is transient, that at this point it's them who are powerful. In the next time, the next term, it will be them who are actually begging the courts to protect their rights. Yes.
You mentioned something that I would really love for you to elaborate on. When you say banana republic, what does that really mean?
It's a republic that is characterized by chaos.
Technology, science, innovation, ICT and research. These are the ingredients upon which the solutions to the 21st century problems are founded. In a world that is rapidly changing, it's all hands on deck to ensure a balance in all fields of life. Women, young and old, are also in the front line, breaking the glass ceiling, becoming thought leaders in the larger tech space. Not forgetting other societies marginalized. And when the tech Avengers come together, we inch closer to a much safer, efficient, and sustainable world. What we view as a norm in today's advanced world was just an idea, and for nostalgic reasons, we trace back to the iconic days to bring you the retro tech. On Technovation Show, we encapsulate all the pillars of the fourth industrial revolution, decoded in a language, all for one for all. Every Monday at 8:30 as we push the mantra, keep learning something new each and every day. Only on KUTV, a new experience.
Welcome back to the broadcast. Now, the Kenya Premier League round of 22 matches saw Sofapaka secure a 2-2 draw against Muhoroni Youth, retaining 14th position in the league table. Sofapaka moved to 16th after Kariobangi Sharks drew 1-1 to Talanta FC, who sit 13th, 25 points tie with Muhoroni Youths. Kakamega Homeboys remain in the seventh position, with Leopards in 8th after a 0-0 draw. Tusker FC moved up to 3rd in the league after beating KCB 2-0. Goals from Chris Erambo and John Junguna secured the win for them. That brings us to the end of our bulletin tonight. Many thanks indeed for watching Weekend Live. Be sure to join me again tomorrow for Money Monday. My name is Odida. Mutava Mongeli is our sign language interpreter tonight. Have a good night and see you tomorrow, inshallah.